Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Agele, ni hao, chuneshumme, washmale, ohio, gudzaimers, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and are watching World this morning, alongside the very fantastic, the very superb, the very amazing, the very well-known, Ms. Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you doing today?
I'm doing so great, thank you so much for asking. What about you?
I think I feel wonderful as well, even though that I didn't really get a chance to kind of, recover from whatever I missed out on yesterday's and day before last night's sleep as well.
Oh.
But yeah, I think I feel great as well, and it's because of the fact that for today,
Okay.
after the show, I really do not have to do anything. So I've already planned myself to go back home, change in my PJs and just sleep till the time it's going to be my class at the gym.
I envy you, isn't that the dream? I mean, to just go back home and have nothing to do. But well, it's all fun and games unless and until you actually have to do something. But Shahzad, remember, this was probably one day ago that we actually did an entire segment on the US elections because, of course, while yes, the presidential elections stand for the US alone, but the impact is global. I mean, the world order may or may not change.
And before we speak anything about it, there's one thing which we missed out on. Even you asked about what I feel and who's actually going to win. And even then you said that your votes are for Joe Biden, and
my vote is not for him. I just think he will win.
Okay, you think that he will win. Okay, so what we are going to do today is that I want your opinion. If Trump wins, do you think that it will be more beneficial for this entire region, South Asian region, or Pakistan? Or if in case Biden wins, who do you think will be a stronger ally for Pakistan?
Okay, so here's my understanding of it, and of course I'm no expert or anything, but I'm so excited to talk about it. Okay, so I just feel like all the states that Trump has wronged, and particularly talking about this region, let's talk about Pakistan and Iran, okay? When Biden comes in the first year, he's actually going to fix everything that Trump ruined, right? So maybe there are chances that we will have a better relation with the US, and I mean, maybe there are even chances that Iran and the US will probably get back on the deal as well. There will be no sort of Cold War or any such indications of a war going on as well. But that's just one thing. What if Biden proves to be just another white president like Trump again? You mentioned this earlier in the day as well, and it actually makes sense, right? But if Trump comes in, again, there are the similar two scenarios. What if he wants to fix everything in the first year? But considering how stubborn he is, I don't think he's going to make any amends. In fact, he's just going to stick to the, some of the agendas he already had and work on them. It's not a good time for the world if Trump comes back. I don't know why I'm even saying this on the stage channel early in the morning, but well, I hope Biden comes back just because he's done similar things before. I think he has the experience. He knows how to deal with
I think
the
Obama
world.
might be very happy for Joe Biden as well.
Of course.
But on the contrary, thank you very much for letting our viewers know as well. But I have a very different opinion. In my opinion, I'm going to stand with it, and I think that Trump was rather a more peaceful president than all of the previous presidents we have actually had, and it's because of the fact that Trump actually made sure that they're going to withdraw wherever the forces were, and they're going to come back to US, and he was one of those people, ladies and gentlemen, who actually concentrated on manufacturing. He actually concentrated on giving jobs as well. There was COVID. I don't think that it is for anybody to be blamed out there as well, and the way they have dealt amongst those crises, because this is something which we were talking about with the Democrat just the other day as well, and he said that if it would have been any other president, very sorry, they would have done the same. Well, no, I disagree with that too as well. And I think that Trump, ever since Trump has taken over and ever since Trump has been the president, I think that he's been kind of friendly to Pakistan, and there were a lot of countries which were in deep water as soon as he took to office, but I think Pakistan was one of those places which were safe havens.
So explicitly, of course, he's not really that bad with Pakistan.
I still think that Trump's going to win.
I don't think so. Well, we'll see that. But just one more thing, though, Shahzad. Where you mentioned that he actually, withdrew all the forces from irrelevant areas as well. There's another side to it. Okay, so in the first place, America sent their troops, engaged the local troops. If we're talking about Syrian-backed rebels, if we're talking about Afghans, they created that force, and now they're withdrawing their own soldiers, leaving a sort of unrest in that particular state. So the finger's still at America. I just think so. But Trump, what I think the good part about what you are saying is that he just probably figured out, not my circus, not my monkey. So he's not going to invest in it anymore. But we really have to take it back to when the Americans, of course, themselves started it. It's a loop we're stuck in. But maybe we will give you some updates about the figures of the elections.
Exactly. And very quickly, I think that this is something which is very important, because a lot of people have been boasting about that Joe Biden is actually going to win. And I don't care. To be honest, I don't care. But there's this one thing which I want people to understand, and that is that, ladies and gentlemen, within every state, you have these electorals, and these electorals are actually going to vote for the president, and then you have representatives. Well, let's not go to the representatives and the caucus and how it happens. But the first person to actually reach the 270 will be the president of United States of America. But before all of that happened, now there are 3 or 4 states which are left, and the results still need to come in. Now it's like this. For example, if in California there are 4 million people or 40 million people, so the number of votes is actually going to be like that. For example, with 40 million, it might be 55 votes. And with 1 million only, it might be only 3 votes or 4 votes as well. So it depends. So there are 1 or 2 states in between where there are more than 60 or 70 votes or 50 votes as well. So if that state is actually going to vote for Mr. Trump, I think that Mr. Trump will already be in lead and will be the president of the United States of America.
That can still happen, right? You're right, but it's really complicated for me to understand. But the turnout this year for the people who came out to vote, it was the largest in the US history. It was 66.9%. I think it's a good sign. People want to take the responsibility. People want to build a democracy again, probably. Well, it's a good thing, right? And Trump already announced that he's going to take it to the Supreme Court if he detects any for that matter.
This rings a bell in my head as well. I think we have gone through the same as well.
Yeah. And well, the final result is still yet to come. Let's see whoever wins, and let's see whatever the implications are going to be.
Exactly, because, ladies and gentlemen, the implications are actually going to be worldwide, and they're going to actually have an impact on just changing their president on the rest of the world, and this is why they're actually known as superpower. Just yesterday, okay, this is a very interesting story. Just yesterday, I had a gold break which I had to go and change. So I went to a jeweler's shop, and I was like, hey, you know what, I need to sell this. And he was like, you know what, since the election is going on, so the dollar price is just coming up, people are saying if Joe Biden is going to win, the gold rate is actually going to go up. And I was like, damn, man, back over here in Pakistan, I don't know how many hundreds of miles away from United States, they are actually contesting elections for the president as well, and it has having an impact on a global market.
Stock market alters now, of course.
I think that's where I want to see our leadership. That's where I want to see my country as well. I hope one day, and we are still alive. Yeah, that's something as well. But ladies and gentlemen, whoever wins, I think that the bottom line is that it really needs to be good for the rest of the world as well, and for us as well.
Absolutely.
So may the best one wins, ladies and gentlemen. And now coming back to one more thing. This is something which I had in my mind, and before we introduce our guest, ladies and gentlemen, so me and Shiza, we were talking about, okay, what is that fun thing, which we can converse about. So today we came up with this topic that 63% of the men say that women actually doubt them without them doing anything wrong to their relationship. 63% of the men believe that women doubt without any basis, without any logic, and they keep on doubting. So I want to ask Shiza, is that true or not?
Well, of course, I mean, if you're talking about such a species which is known for creating such chaos, you are supposed to doubt them. But this was just on a lighter note, and I think, yes, a lot, I get the similar sentiment from a lot of people. I know a lot of married women who do have doubts about their husband, but vice versa. Vice versa as well.
What are the most common doubts?
I don't know, secret texting or probably calling to someone secretly. I mean, those are the first things that come to your mind, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, imagine, somebody's going to walk up onto you and be like, who are you talking to? I mean, you haven't met that person. What does it matter? How does it even matter to you that who I'm actually talking to? I think that for people whom you do not even know, what's the point of asking? What's the point of that inquisitiveness?
Can I tell you that?
Yeah, sure,
okay. So, you're saying that people come up to you and ask, who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Are you talking about people or are you talking about the wife?
I mean, I think I'm talking about everybody, man.
No,
What is it
yeah,
to you?
you're
Because
right.
you don't
So
know anyone.
someone other than the wife, of course, they're not entitled to come and know, but the wife is your spouse, your
She
better
needs to know
half,
everything.
right? I mean,
So, for example,
if she wishes to, why
if
not?
your husband has been in conversation with Zikriya and you don't know who Zikriya is, what's the point of you knowing that, okay, he's talking to Zikriya?
I think in the first place, you should know who your friends are, the other person's friend. I think if you're in a relationship, you should be sharing everything,
I
right?
think
That
my
is the
mother
beauty
says
of
the
it.
best thing, ladies and gentlemen. My mother says that why do men do such things that their wives have actually had to doubt them as well. I think that this
Makes
is,
sense.
this is logical and this is valid, so we're going to make peace to it. But now
Okay.
coming down to how we can actually save ourselves from doubting and doing whatever we do, because an idle mind is the devil's workshop, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. And you know, Shazad, if we're talking about doubting, not just in relationships, generally though, it's sort of a paranoia as well. We're not saying it's wrong all the time,
Yep.
but of course it's sort of a paranoia and a mindset as well. You have to trust, first of all, your instincts. You have to trust God's plan in the first place, and you have to sort of leave things to Allah for, you know, for Him to do it. Yesterday, you said something very important. It's been on my mind that, you know, to live in the moment. You always say it, I know, but just yesterday it stick to me.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking how to get that kind of positive is probably a generic word, but that kind of mindset where you're really not bothered about anything going wrong around you, in a good way though.
You know, there's an Urdu word for it as
What
well.
is it?
Dheet.
Maybe
That's all
we'll-
you want, man. You just have to be stubborn about it. Okay, I need
Well,
to feel
that's
great
one
about
way.
myself. Let's feel great. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, that's one way, but I think I was pointing towards to be so involved or so engrossed in the things that are going on in your own life that you literally have no time to probably, well, sneak peek at someone else's life,
Yeah.
right?
And you know, I'm going to add to it. I'm sorry that, you know, our guests are actually waiting. They've
I
been
know,
waiting
right?
for
They're
a
like,
longer period
maybe it's
today.
time to go back
But
home.
we're just having a good conversation, ladies and gentlemen. And this is something which I realized, I even spoke about it yesterday as well. So I've lost, you know, within this life, journey of life, I've lost 2 or 3 friends who were very near and dear to me. And they're no more in this world. And, you know, just the day before they were talking to me that, you know, they have achieved this much, and that, you know, that they're going to do this with it and this with that and whatnot, and they were planning for another year as well. And next day, you know, you get a phone call and I'm sorry that I'm saying that they are no more. That was the day when it actually opened my eyes that, you know, even while I'm driving my car, you know, it is my safe spot. You know, that's what I do. So whenever I'm driving my car, I used to think about a lot of other things which were going on in life, and, you know, how, well, where am I in terms of my goals as well.
Okay.
But from that day onwards, I have started to enjoy my moments. I've started to enjoy myself. I was like, okay, you know, what is to come afterwards will come afterwards. What's the point of overthinking about anything?
Absolutely, that's
you know,
true.
because those things will be from Allah, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a good belief system, I think everything's going to work out for you. And even, God forbid, there are people who do not actually have a belief system. Things are working out for them as well.
I know,
You
right?
So please make sure that you do have a belief system.
Absolutely, that is so important. But Shazad, now I'm going to take you back to one of the things
Sure.
you said just a while ago, where you said that you wish Pakistan actually comes to a position or a stand where it has the larger impact like the superpower now does. Well, I don't know. We really hope, of course, being Pakistanis, we hope that, fingers crossed. But I think it's a good time to actually wish for that. Knock on wood, I'll tell you why. Because 64% of our population is actually youth. And while it's a good thing to say out loud, it's also a good thing to imagine that this 64% is actually, if trained properly, if educated properly, if provided the right opportunities, is going to bring Pakistan out of, well, I want to say, whatever we're in, and actually push us towards something we've never seen before. It's a promising time. But the challenge actually is to provide them with all the right kind of
Exactly.
education and facilities,
Exactly.
right?
And ladies and gentlemen, not just that, you know, we do have examples over here. We have inspirational examples over here in Pakistan where people didn't really had the basics to start with whatever they wanted to do, but they've achieved so much in so little time that we really wanted to share their story with you. Today we have a great team who are with us, ladies and gentlemen. They've actually developed an application. It's a platform for education itself. What does it do? How did they do it? And how did they make sure that they are going to actually achieve whatever they have in their heads as well? Ladies
And they're very
gentlemen,
patient as well.
Yes, they have been really patient, and now is the time that we're going to introduce them, and now is the time that they really do not have to use their patience. So ladies and gentlemen, first up, she actually happens to be content manager for Taleemabad as well. Taleemabad is that application which we are talking about. She is Miss Sabina Abbasi. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so
very
much for
much.
inviting us.
It's
Thank
our
you for
pleasure.
joining us. It's wonderful to have you alongside Miss Sabina, ladies and gentlemen. We've actually been joined by visual communication designer. She is
Wow.
Miss Zunaira Arshad. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
I'm good.
Wonderful to have you. Thank you very much for joining us. Is it cold today?
I feel colder than most of the people.
That's why
So yeah.
I'm wearing this as well. And alongside Ms. Zanara, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by the product manager Taleemabad, and he is Mr. Mateen Sheikh. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Saab. How are you?
Walaikum salam, I'm fine, thank
Are
you.
you a Sheikh or it's just a name?
No, I'm just a Pakistani Sheikh.
Right, I think I'm literally a Pakistani Sheikh because they don't like to spend, right? That's what I've heard. All right, so I think I'll have to ask this from your friends as well. But moving on, ladies and gentlemen, last but not the least, she is the mass team lead and she is Miss Shan Azhar. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
Good.
So
Great.
since you are the team lead, I think we're going to get the conversation started with you. Tell us about Taleemabad, who
Yeah.
thought about it, who conceived the idea, and where are we?
Okay, so Taleemabad started around 5 years ago, and I was the first employee of the organization. So I have seen it from the beginning, and basically. Right now it's an educational app, but it started off from a very small puppet show which was shot inside a servant quarter, which was at that time it was our office, and four logon ki team thi us time, and we used to shoot with a regular camera and very basic equipment, and now within 5 years we have achieved so much. We have an app now which is used by more than 500,000 people across the globe.
Amazing.
And
amazing.
we also, our content is being watched by millions of households through PTV.
Yeah.
So that's a huge achievement for us in such a short time, which is
Wow,
5
it's
years.
wonderful. Well, I'm going to take you back in time. You know, let's rewind 5 years back, where it was a servant quarter and an office for Taleemabad. What were you doing in that office?
So I was hired as a content designer. I created the first episode of Taleemabad, which
Where was this episode going?
so at that time we used to go to different schools.
Okay.
Our first school was in Barimam in Islamabad, and we used to take our episodes in USBs at that time.
Oh, right.
But later on we realized that the scale wasn't, it was too small. So we wanted to expand ourselves, which is why we later on decided to have an app.
But you realized that the method was engaging for the students, but the content needed to be
Yeah,
expanded.
it needed to be better, like engagement wise. Puppet shows जिस तरह हम shoot करते थे, they were very basic at that time. So then later on we decided that creating animated episodes would be a better idea.
So
we
is it
shifted
like
towards
where you get
that.
this screen that, hey kids, do you think Dora's going to go left or right? So you press left or press
Sort
right.
of like that, but a better version of that.
Alright.
With contextual elements, like things that children can relate to in Pakistan.
Okay,
Oh, that's
that's
brilliant.
wonderful.
Yeah.
But let me move on to Mr. Mateen over here, who actually happens to be the product manager as well. I think for a better understanding of what Taleemabad is, please let us know. First of all, it is just like that. It's your first day in your university, and your teachers like, please come on, you need to introduce yourself. So introduce Taleemabad.
Yeah, we just know that it's an app for education. Let us know all the details.
Yeah, so like Shan told you, we started Taleemabad 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Earlier it was just videos, animated series which we used to distribute in schools, and then we knew if we have to target mass users, we have somehow we have to make it more scalable. We need to provide in a more efficient platform or way. So we decided to make the app. In 2017 we started making that. Zunera and I started working on that early, yeah. So as of today, we have around 600,000 users.
Amazing.
We are expected to go about 1 million users by the end of 2020.
Oh, amazing.
yeah,
Did you
and-
guys get a surge in the users, especially in the pandemic?
Sorry?
Yeah,
Yes,
yes, we did.
yes.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Actually, now coming to Zunera, and actually both of you can answer this since you
Yeah.
mentioned you were working on the design yourself.
But it was hard for me to understand because I still haven't
Okay.
gotten around it as well. So what happens on Taleemabad? I've downloaded the application.
Yeah, okay.
Am I going to watch videos only?
So basically in the app, you can watch videos, you can give tests, you can play games.
We
So
can give tests.
yeah, so basically the purpose of test is to measure either if student has learned anything or not.
Okay.
So if
So
student
the
is just
student
watching
is
the video,
actually
yeah.
a regular student who goes to school and then he comes back and then he downloads Taleemabad and he does his homework. the school homework on Taleemabad? Is
No,
that
so
what
basically the idea was that mainly our target audience is out of school kids.
Okay.
So the
Wonderful.
thing we noticed was that 50% of the population who don't even have food to eat, they own a smartphone.
They do actually.
So that was the audience that we thought that's an opportunity we can market, and we can reach out to our audience through that. So that was the idea behind creating the app.
All right.
So the app is combined of cartoon series, because we thought even as us as children, I think cartoon is something we can relate to a lot, and it
Right.
is
I
something.
remember Meena
Yeah,
watching
I still
Meena
watch
anymore.
cartoons because I think that is something that gives me a whole new world, and that's something I can live on by shutting down everything wrong that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
That's
So
brilliant.
cartoon is a very safe haven for people.
It
So
is.
that is the reason why we thought we should take cartoon as a medium to
Okay.
teach kids. And then the thing we also found out was the dropout rates were very high in the schools. So what the highest reason was that the kids didn't find any tangible meaning that why
Alright.
they should get educated, or they found it too boring to study.
Alright.
So in order to bring them back to education, we thought, okay, why not teach them through a medium that attracts them. So that is the reason why we created cartoons. And
That makes sense.
And
Yes.
are you? I'm sorry, but I think it is my responsibility to ask you. Are you feeling cold?
yeah, I feel cold a lot.
Oh,
Or can
I
we
wish we
please-
had.
No,
Can
I'm
we please
fine.
turn off the air conditions as well? But
No,
it's
that's
just
okay.
a studio thing that we keep it on as well. But so I'm going to get it turned off for you, because we are good hosts, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
But this is how you look after your guests.
All right. So, Sinera, you actually explained it very well, but adding more questions to it, maybe you can answer.
Sure.
So, it's up till 6th grade?
Yes.
And are there like is there I don't know how to put it, is there like a generic syllabus for everyone to come on and study from, or are they proper different grades and different subjects and everything?
So yes, we currently have content from nursery till grade 6, and we offer English, Urdu, Science and Maths till
Okay.
grade 5, and we add history and geography in grade 6 as well. And we basically follow national curriculum of Pakistan, and the thing that's quite a lot of people ask is, because in Pakistan we have different boards, right? And there's a lot of debate around that we have to go for a single national curriculum. So what we have also done a lot of research in that, and what we've found out that there's not much difference between different boards. It's just that the topics are placed in different grades and different the sequence is different. Otherwise, the basic, like for example in English,
Okay.
nouns will be taught in anywhere
Exactly.
across the world. So you can, and we're also developing an adapted mechanism where you can actually go into the app, and if you click on the board, which board you want to follow, then the app will realign the topics.
Alright.
We were in the process of developing
still
that.
under process.
Right. So I think it's also very useful for the parents who choose to homeschool their kids,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And then, so
we
would
have-
you say that, for example, if my kid is in grade 1 of your app,
Yeah.
because I'm homeschooling him, and when he graduates from grade 1, would his IQ be equal to anyone who graduates from grade 1 from any other school?
Yes,
In terms of the content that he's been studying?
Yes, when we're designing content, we make sure that we don't consider that supplement content.
Right.
When we are making it, we consider that if a child is watching it, even if he's not going to the school, so that it's we were trying to be an end-to-end education organization. That's why now that we are focusing towards, because for the longest time it was a B2C company, we were directly targeting customers. So now we are also focusing on schools. We're developing teacher guides so that they can use the videos in order to develop their lesson plans as well.
And do you make the videos actually?
No, she does.
Yeah, me and my team.
So
make
Oh,
yeah, we'll come back to
amazing.
the video bit as well, but I think that this is a brilliant idea as well.
I
So
know.
in this way, I think that each and every school can actually use it. Every other educational institution can use it, but it is from grade 1 till 6th as of now as well. But just asking about it, for people who actually spend time on education, they towards the end of their education want a piece of paper which is this big, and it says this is to certify that
Yeah.
Mr. Shahzad Hassan Khan has successfully
Yes.
passed this degree and all of that.
Fact.
So is Taleemabad actually going to be giving out affiliations as well, or in that matter, you know, it is very important for Taleemabad or any education institute to be recognized by another one or by a board. So where are we on this?
So we currently our content is being shown on Teleschool, and it has been approved by Ministry of Education.
Yes.
It's on
Our
PTV
channel
Home
as
as well. Yes, so it is approved by Ministry of Education, and yes, we are going to introduce a certification program as well, where if you've passed grade 1, you will get a certificate. We're in the process of adding that as well, because we are in our team, we also have pedagogy experts from different parts of the world as well. So we make sure that our content is rigorously evaluated.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think it's a difficult job for you because it is rigorously actually evaluated as well. So for all of that time which you've spent making a video or creating that kind of content, is it like always, I don't know what Sabina is actually going to say, because you know, I don't know whether she likes my content. I don't think she likes my face even as well. You know, so is it difficult, you know, how's the culture within Taleemabad and people working together? For example, let me ask about Sheikh Sahab. Is he a lady Sheikh?
So the good thing about our team is that we are really connected to each other, the entire team, and even one video involves the entire team. Like उसमें script writers का role होता है, उसमें animators का role होता है, उसमें voice over artists का role होता है, उसमें app के लोगों का. So the entire team is involved equally. So we own our videos collectively, so we don't hold one person accountable for our content. Which
the shared responsibility.
Yeah, it's a team effort.
Exactly.
Okay, and is it available for Android and iOS as well?
iOS is under construction right now. But
currently it's just available on Google Play Store.
Okay, that's brilliant. But here's the thing, you guys. A lot of people that I even personally know, and a lot of people that I don't know, are now coming up with startups that are based in the category of edtech, along the lines of what you guys are already doing. Do you guys think any of them to be a competition? You don't have to name them, I'm just saying it. Do you guys think you guys have a competition, and how will you like make sure that Taleemabad stands where it is?
So we definitely have competitors in the market, and we have very
Can you name a few?
knowledge platform, Subbug, and we have a very good relationship with all of them. So because at the end of the day, it's a very cause-driven organization and industry.
You're right.
And when we are all working together, that's the end goal that we all have in mind. That in Pakistan, because education sector is quite crippled. If you look at the figures, even now around 22 million children are out of school. So as many organizations can tackle this issue, that's even less.
You know, saying it on television, it feels very nice to the ear as well, that you know, it's a very cause driven, and towards the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it is a business. Let's not lie about it. But how much value you can take out of it is something which we really need to talk about. And talking about competition, I think it's great. And you actually have to be friends with competitors as well, because going back to when I was studying marketing, I was doing my majors as well, you know, this is something which they thought that you actually need to be in good relations with your competitors, so that you know the kind of product they are developing and the kind of product you are developing. So how important it is to know that, okay, this is what our competitors are up to. There's artificial intelligence now. There's so many things which can actually be integrated into a platform of such sort. So we'll talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. This is an advanced level of conversation. You probably need a cup of tea for that matter. We're going for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Good morning. We're talking about Taleemabad today.
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, where Shazad Khan and myself, Shaza Hashmi, are today's students.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why, because we're talking about Taleemabad. You have seen their content on your TV screens, especially now because of the teleschool going on. It's an app as well. So basically, in a nutshell, for what we talked about, it's an education system, basically, for students who need to get educated on the basics up till grade 6th. It basically focuses on masses and especially out-of-school children. And that is important because while Shazad, big cities like Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, they will have their literacy rate in 70s, and a very nearby village near Karachi, somewhere near Tata, it would have less than 9%. So this is why we need such things, right?
Exactly, that's true as well. And ladies and gentlemen, just before heading out towards a short break, I actually wanted to talk about how technology is being integrated and making sure that each and every student actually understands as well. Because when you're in a classroom, there's a teacher, she asks you something you don't know, that's it, you're dead, and they're actually going to send a note on your diary back home that your kid is not doing very well in the classroom. So this is how we do it, and this is a very common practice as well. But for somebody who's actually said that that their primary goal was to actually make sure that since there are 22 I don't know how many million children out of 22.7 million children out of school, so they really wanted to provide them with a platform where they can educate themselves. Now, for somebody who's not been to school ever, I think that it'll be a very big challenge for them to actually read or understand what they're trying to convey. They might probably be able to understand because it's in Urdu, and this is our mother language or mother tongue as well. But for people who really do not know how to write and read, I think it will be difficult off the application. So this is what I wanted to know, that how are we going to assess whether a child is learning or not? Because for somebody who's not going to school, make sure that his or her father or mother actually never went to school as well. Obviously, this is how we're going to probably predict as well. We're going to forecast with what has actually happened in the past. So how are they integrating technology to make sure that their servers are more aware that whether the kids are learning or not?
Right,
so this is a humble question. Whoever wants to answer, please go ahead. You want to answer?
So basically, when I said we also test kids, so we are building this mechanism. So we have an assessment team.
Okay.
So who's working on the curriculum is made up of SLOs, right? So they're connecting all the SLOs together. It's more like neural system in your brain that everything is connected together. So they are connecting that, okay, if there's a topic on algebra, so what do you need to know to learn algebra, the prior knowledge. So they'll connect it with those dots. Or if there's a word problem, it may be connected with English as well, not just maths, because you need to understand the sentences, the English part of it in order to attempt the question. So they'll make connections with it. So we are making those connections. So what we are doing is that on the platform, when the kid is performing a question and he falls weak on it, we'll know exactly, okay, this was the question that he wasn't, so what's the SLO that's attached to it. So we'll bring them back to that lesson. We'll throw the video on them that they can learn from that, and then they can pick up from there and then move forward. So the idea behind is, in the school systems, when you're not when you're weak on one point or one subject, you get if you fail, you get left behind. And like, it's not just maybe you're good at maths but you're weak in English, but overall you'll get failed because you didn't pass that subject. So it's also very demotivating, and it shatters a child's confidence because all their friends move forward while they're left behind. So the reason why we are adopting this method is that if a child is good at maths, they can progress in maths. But if he's weak in English, maybe he can take more time in English without feeling that he has been left behind.
Right, and he can come back to the app, all the times whenever he wants, and get back to the
and without even knowing that he is lagging behind. So it's more of like, we make sure that we don't use any such language that's demotivating, that, oh, you have failed,
but
oh no, you can do better. Like, you can use alternate words to motivate them.
You can do better next time.
Yeah, you can do better, or maybe
Keep
try harder. Maybe you can try your luck next time. Maybe it's
just like the doctor tells you, when God forbid you're fatally ill, and he's like, you know what, you're going to be fine.
So basically, the culture in our schools is that we demotivate kids.
But I'm sorry that I'm going to stop you over here, but there's this one important question which just came to my head, and you were just speaking about it. So I think that whenever we talk about an education system, all the institutes, they prioritize the subjects. that okay, maths, statistics, you know, geography, history, these are those subjects which a person might need to know when they grow up.
Okay.
Now, for somebody who's actually living in Thatta, for example, you know what Shiza said, and they already speak Sindhi or they speak Urdu, what's the point of, you know, kind of stopping them over a subject which they might not even require for the rest of their lives, for example, English?
Yeah, so we make sure that whatever examples we are giving, we're relating it with practical things that that's actually applicable in the real life.
No, you didn't get my point.
So
So, for
I
example,
think
So is it
understand
compulsory
your
or
point.
can they
Yeah.
choose?
No, so in the app you can actually choose what you want to study,
Yeah.
and when we start off with languages, and if you see the nursery curriculum, it literally starts off with A, and there's a 10-minute video just focuses on, you know, how to, you know, what's A,
What's A?
what's A about.
That's
So it's
nice.
very it's focused, because our target audience is children who are literally out of school and not studied at all.
Yeah.
So that's why we really bring it down to their level. So we make sure that they understand the language and then they move on to other
Wonderful.
subjects.
I like it.
And
I
we
like
also
it.
have games in the app. So, like Savina said, we have a video of A. Then we will have a game of A, which will teach how to write the letter A, alphabet A. Yeah,
nice.
even A to Z, Alif se Ye, even of counting.
It's really
which
interesting. And I-
reminded me of if anybody over here knows.
I was
Alif
gonna
Be
say, I was literally gonna say, I don't think anyone does.
Do you?
I do.
Alif is-
Really?
I do.
Without
Can,
stopping.
Without
we
stopping.
do that? All
Let's have it.
let's
Let's have it. All right,
Let's
Zunaira,
have it.
for Alif Bebe.
Okay, I'm being tested for it.
Even though we don't know it, ladies and gentlemen, that does not mean that we didn't go to school.
I-
Okay? You know,
I do
we know
know
how to
it with
speak,
an-
we know how to write. So whenever
Okay.
we need alif, be, pe, or ye, we can use them. Yeah, go
I think
ahead.
my company is
Going to probably kick you out after this. No, on a lighter
No.
note. Come on. Go
Okay.
ahead.
But who's going to check for mistakes?
I will, because
I
I can tell
myself
mistakes.
know.
I cannot just recite it.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
okay. Should I actually do
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Come on.
Okay. Alif be pe te te se jim che he he dal dal zal re are ze se she sin shin swad swad toin zoi ain gain fe kaf kaf gaf lam mim nun wow he hamza choti hai badi hai.
What was
Okay,
Seishe?
this
What
was-
was Seishe?
Sin shin.
Yes, Seishe is fine, but you said Seishe. I was like, Seishe?
Sin shin
No,
swad.
no, I think she was
se and je.
J.
Re are se
Ye is
she.
with-
Zal,
with Jala
Zal.
Bari.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jala
Bari,
Bari,
exactly.
exactly.
Zal, Zal.
This is really interesting, you guys. You know, the good
Wow,
part
wonderful.
is that some brilliant minds actually came together for this. And while a lot of youth, after they graduate, they're looking for some fancy jobs, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, why not, right?
These are the most fancy jobs these days.
I know, it's so much fun. But here's the thing, but it's brilliant to actually look at you guys and see that you're going after a cause. You want to make a change in the lives of people that you want to see be the future of Pakistan. That's brilliant. But towards the end, Shan and Mateen, I want you guys to wrap up on what is new, what should we be expecting from Taleemabad to come up with. And by the end of 2020, you said a lot of users must be, you know, registered with you. So are you expanding on probably iOS as well? All the future plans that you have.
So, Batit, you can start off with the
Yeah,
app-related
so
stuff. and
currently we are working on iOS app because we do see potential of users on that platform as well. So
Absolutely.
we are working on that, and as of now हमारे सिर्फ वीडियोस और टेस्ट होते थे, कोई डेडिकेटेड टीचर्स या उस तरह नहीं थे. तो वी आर वर्किंग ऑन लाइव ट्यूशन थिंग थ्रू द ऐप, और उसमें एग्जैक्टली ये हुआ कि students can register for particular subject or grade, and then our tutors will give them live classes. Or
Yeah, that's what
it
I was
will
going to
be
ask. Are we
one-to-one
expecting
interaction with
mentors or
teachers.
live teachers soon?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
we
we are
I
working.
think
That's
you
part
haven't
of
seen
the
what
plan.
kids have been doing on online classes lately. Have you seen that?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we have
been-
actually
Yeah,
tried
experienced
it.
that.
We have experimented it, and it went pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
The content will also increase. We were planning to launch till grade 12.
I
So,
like
yeah.
it.
And so
That's
we're
what-
not doing it in the traditional method, the live class. It won't be like a Zoom call class. So we're making sure that the
One-on-one?
kids keep entertained as well.
Okay, that's
Wow.
nice.
How are you
And
going to
our
do that?
content is also being translated for deaf children of Pakistan.
Yes.
So
Amazing.
that's an upcoming project that is going to expand our reach to deaf.
And that's the inclusive education model, ladies and gentlemen, which we were talking about, that we really need to come around and we need to come up with such a thing where education is inclusive. So imagine that a deaf child can actually even learn from that same application.
It's brilliant, it's a
And,
good time.
You know, I can even learn from that application as well, even though that my mother has always been telling me, because first time you don't answer the question right, क्या हो गया बेटा गौर से पढ़ो. Second time you don't do it right, क्या हो गया बेटे गौर से पढ़ो. Third time you don't do it, you are stupid. You know, so
with
this
me, I always used to say, "Shuru bata de." Answer ka sirf shuru bata de. The rest I
Start
know.
to bata do, start bata do. Yeah, but it was great to have you guys.
You guys
And
were
I think
amazing.
it's a great initiative.
And we're also starting a Taleemabad franchise now.
Like a proper setup and everything?
Like we used to be just an edtech company. Now we're basically an education for
You've
everything
marketed it
company.
so much now, I think we'll have to charge you money for
I
that.
know, right?
Thank you very much for being with us. It's lovely to have you. If there's any more promotions,
Yeah.
we'll actually give it out on our Facebook page as well. Okay, thank you very much.
But it's
I
a
think
good
that's the
cause.
kind of team you need to have. You know, wherever they go, they promote your business. So thank you very much for doing so. You're great people. You're doing a great thing as well, and it is a cause-driven thing as well. So more power to you guys, and more power to your competitors as well, because they are actually even competing for a noble cause as well. So wonderful to have you, Taleemabad, all the way, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that you should actually only check the depth of the river with 1 foot, ladies and gentlemen. So I think it is worth giving it a try as well.
Absolutely. And well, we always talk about how we need to sort of cater to the 22.7 million out of school children. We personally know a lot of people who are doing that, but it's still not enough. It's never enough. While a lot of children may register for it, they will still drop out. There are so many factors that come in. Some of them we're not even aware of.
Exactly.
So I think we need to come up with so many similar ideas. The more, the better. And so, well, we're looking at probably, inshallah, a better future of Pakistan as well, because this is the generation that is going to lead the country in a good direction.
So one last question towards the end of the show, and that is, do you think that men are overthinking when they say that their wives doubt them, or do you think that they're right?
They're 100% right, and they should be, because they deserve it. Well, this was on a lighter note. Ladies and gentlemen, if you actually learned something from our show, and well, if you have any predictions about the US elections, do let us know, because we are so excited about it. Write to us on our Facebook page with the name of
World This Morning. It's on your television screens, ladies and gentlemen, down below.
Yes, on Twitter.
Twitter, it's World This Morning without G.
Yeah, on YouTube.
YouTube, it's World This Morning once again.
And the repeat of this show you can catch
5
at
past midnight, ladies and gentlemen. Till the next time, 1, 2, 3.
Good morning. Stay safe.